Hello, this is Michael, aka MichaelMikeyMike, and I wanted to do a little video of a behind the walls, aka behind the scenes kind of video of my recent found footage analog horror series that I posted called the Uncanny Walls Incident. And just wanted to do like a little behind the scenes sort of video or talk about it a little bit in case any of you guys watched it and were interested in learning some details about it and about the making of and stuff. And yeah, if that's interesting to you, then keep watching. So yeah, the initial idea for the story of doing the series, before I started this series, I was doing different video stuff and experimenting with different things. I was doing a lot of comedy videos mostly, but then I'm a huge horror fan, and so over time, like there were some elements of my like comedy videos that I would put some like horror stuff in. But then over time, I was like getting an itch more and more to do just like more straight up horror stuff. So then, yeah, some of my videos, I started to experiment with that, and I was kind of like getting my toes wet or whatever with making, just like different kind of horror things. So I made some like shorter horror videos. And then eventually I was having fun with the comedy videos, and I was doing them like pretty much every week for a while. But then I started to get kind of sick of it, and then felt like I wasn't enjoying it as much anymore. And then I was more interested in doing like a horror thing. So then I was like, okay, well, I was just thinking like of doing like a larger scale like horror thing instead of just my short videos that I was doing. And just started to kind of brainstorm and think about things and what that would look like. And I kind of knew too, because it was kind of like new to me doing like horror stuff, and sometimes I get a little overwhelmed if I like want to work on a big project, that it's just kind of overwhelming thinking about making just like one video that's like really long. So then I was like thinking, okay, how can I make it so it's like I can do it in little bits, and it's like when you put it all together, it's one, bigger series or whatever. So yeah, I started to think about that, and then one influence of my series was Marble Hornets, that YouTube series, because I don't know, that's always stuck with me, that series. It was one of the more popular horror series on YouTube. I don't know if you could hear that motorcycle. There's very loud cars on my street. But anyway, that one always stuck with me, and Slender Man is iconic, and but I also liked just like this short form kind of, especially their earlier videos. I actually don't think I'm not sure I ever watched the whole series, because there are a lot of episodes in Marble Hornets, and I don't think I ever got around to watching all of it. I might have jumped around a little bit. I watched like a good amount of the first episodes. But yeah, my favorites were the earlier ones anyway. Like the very first episodes were just like so fun to watch and so mysterious, and really like DIY too, and just like you watch it and you can kind of get a sense that like it's just like people with their friends, making a spooky video, and just like just having fun making some spooky things. So yeah, that kind of stuck with me, and how it was like split up into like smaller videos that ended up making this big story. And I liked how they kind of like had the text and stuff. I don't know, something about that, that they had the like text in the beginning of the videos, and I think at the end too sometimes. That also, I don't know, kind of added to the mysteriousness of it. and felt more like a story in a way, like almost like reading a story. So I heavily borrowed from them using like that kind of text style. I liked that and wanted to use that for my video. So yeah, that was kind of the beginning, and then or the beginning of like the overall like idea of the project. And then I was trying to think, well, what is it going to be about exactly? What's the story? So then I started to think about, I previously, years ago with my friends, we did a spooky stories podcast. So we basically just wrote our own, we wrote our own spooky stories, and then it was just all audio. We just recorded it ourselves, wrote the stories, and then recorded it ourselves, and then added sound effects to make it spooky and stuff. So anyway, I was thinking back to those episodes and like the stories that I wrote for that, and I was like, well, is there any of those stories maybe that I could like go off of or use for this? And then then I like went through my stories, and then I saw that there was one of my stories that was called The Settling House, and it was about a couple guys, friends that move into this house, and then one of the guys, the main character, every night that he goes to bed, he's hears these mysterious cracking sounds, and it keeps waking him up, and he doesn't know where it's coming from. He doesn't see anything. He just hears these noises, and it's really strange. And then, just to spoil it, I mean, I don't think anyone's even going to listen to it, but eventually it keeps happening, and then the walls end up opening up one night. Like they make the noise, and then it opens, or he has a dream, I guess, that this is happening, but then in reality it's really happening, where the walls just end up opening up, and then he gets swallowed into the walls, and then he becomes the wall, or the walls, and then other people move in, and he can like still hear things, and like, but he just sees nothing, and then the process basically just repeats itself. There's new people that moved in, and then they're probably going to suffer the same fate, where they get like eventually sucked into the walls and stuff. So so yeah, I don't know. I just I think I don't know, something about that story I liked. I've always just liked, there's been horror stories in the past that I've liked that are like creepy things with walls. Like there's Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat, I believe, was one that I really liked. I think there were some other Edgar Allan Poe ones too. It's called The Fall of the House of Usher or something. I'm pretty sure that one had a kind of a thing too, with a house deteriorating and wall stuff. And then there was this short story, forgot who it's by, but it's called, I believe, The Yellow Wallpaper. And that was like one of the more creepy horror stories and creative horror stories I've ever read. Like it's so creative and creepy the way that story is. That one was really good. So that was kind of the main influences for the story. And then I was thinking, okay, well, how can I adapt this to my, making it myself, and what can I do? And so my own living situation, I had recently moved to LA, from San Francisco to LA, which was a big move for me. And I moved into this place that I kind of found quickly because I didn't really have a choice, through Craigslist. And it was not a good place to live. It was, there was a lot of issues with it. The actual place wasn't good, but then also there were other people that lived there that were, not great. So it was not a great experience there, but I don't know, I guess like part of that ended up finding a way into the story to kind of just like my, I guess, general unhappiness living there and just feeling uncomfortable. So I don't know, there were some things with that, and that was kind of also another reason why I stopped doing like comedy videos, is because I was like so self-conscious that those people living with me could hear me talk. Like doing this horror series, I was like, oh, I can I don't have to talk as much, I can just make it more of a visual thing. And then so that was kind of like a more fitting project for while I was living there, because I didn't feel as comfortable talking as much. So I just kind of made the most of my living situation that way. Even though the place wasn't great, there was good things about it. I was living in the same house as some other people, but I had my own room and I had my own bathroom, which is where I shot like, most of that series. And it just has, I don't know, it has this like a cool, interesting look to me, or certain things do, like the doorway that goes into the from the main room to the bathroom, how it's like kind of has like an interesting architecture design to it, and also like the bathroom like extended to like a larger room that was like part of the bathroom, but like it's just like I used it as storage mostly, but that I got some use out of. And also there was like, general like things that weren't kept up well with the place, like the paint splotch on the wall that I ended up using as like pretending like that was like a portal to the wall people or whatever. So I like used that like paint splotch, which they should have just like painted properly, but there's just this big like white like circle kind of paint thing there. So I just like took stuff like that and was like, oh, I can use this as like a creepy thing. And then also that chair that I used there was like a chair that was in there that I never really sat in it myself, because I was just kind of I don't know, I get easily grossed out with things, and like I felt like it looked kind of like a used chair, so I think I just like put things on it sometimes, but I didn't really sit in it. But then I was like, oh, I could use this chair in the video too, and kind of use that as some kind of like creepy prop or something. So yeah, I ended up using that a bit. So yeah, I just kind of tried to take, like a crappy situation I was in and make the most of it, and use it to my advantage, I guess, with this video. So yeah, like the story is somewhat based off of reality, where I actually say that in the beginning that I moved to a new city, which was true. It was just like months before that I had just moved. And then also there was the music aspect of the story, where my character is like, moving to this new town, and he's like really, one of his main goals is to record an album and get back to making music and stuff, which was also kind of where I was at personally, where I was, I used to work on music and make music, but I took a break for a while, and I kind of lost interest, and it just wasn't as fun to play music and play guitar anymore, so I stopped doing it. But then over the years, since I like took a break, it's been kind of like coming back, my urge to want to play again. And I've always wanted to, I made like, songs here and there, but I never really I always wanted to like make my own album and release an album. So it was like kind of me, expressing that in this video too. So yeah, that part was kind of like based off truth. So yeah, some other influences that come to mind, that I was thinking of when I was making this, The Ring. I'm a big fan of The Ring. Just the story in general was just like so creepy. and the visuals and the analog VHS glitches. I still think it's like, yeah, so such a creepy movie in general, but then especially that like the tape in the movie, it's just like still creeps me out to this day. So I wanted to I tried to like kind of do my own little version of that with when I play back the tape that I found. So yeah, that was a big influence. And Blair Witch, I mean, that's just, I grew up in the 90s, so yeah, I'm definitely influenced by a lot of 90s stuff for sure. And I still remember first watching Blair Witch. Affected me a lot, and I thought it was like so creepy and cool when I first watched it. And it's, yeah, I think it's still, I haven't seen it for a bit, but I think it's still a really good film. And especially, well, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but at the end, the end shots of like, just someone staring off into the corner with the camera, like falling and everything. And like, it's just, that has always stuck with me as like one of the creepiest, most chilling, like horror moments ever. It's just so disturbing. And yeah, I guess I did try to do that a little bit, in some of the shots where I'm like facing a corner and stuff like that. So that was kind of part of the influence with that. And then a lot of people, this is a really like kind of controversial, movie to like or dislike. The newer can't talk. Newer movie Skinnamarink. I've only seen it once still, but I thought it was so good. It freaked me out so bad. I can definitely see why people didn't like it. And the first time that I started watching it, I was not in a good headspace to watch it. And I think I got hardly any sleep. And so I started watching it and I was like falling asleep the first like 10, 15 minutes. And then I had to stop it because I couldn't do it. I just wasn't in the right headspace or mood for it. But then a couple of nights after that, I tried it again when I was feeling better. And yeah, I just thought it was such a unique like interpretation or what's the word, approach, such a unique approach to filmmaking and found footage and horror that I'd never seen before. And it just like was one of those movies that kind of like expanded my mind of like that you can approach film differently with horror. Like you can, yeah, just, I don't know, it just was so different to me. And I thought it was just so creepy. I loved all like the textures and like the look of the film and everything. I just thought it was so cool. And like I mean, I know a lot of like the film, you're kind of just like staring at nothing and like wondering or like peering a bit and trying to see like, what is this? What am I looking at? Am I looking at a wall, or is there somebody there? But that was like what I liked about it. I was like, because I thought it was so creepy, because you just like, you're looking at things and you're trying to like figure out sometimes what you're looking at, and sometimes you think you see like a face or something there, and then oftentimes it's not. But it was just like so interesting that like I'd never seen a movie like that did that like so well. And I just found it so unnerving, and when it actually is, starts to get creepy and more things start to happen, then I thought it was just like the pacing of it almost like drives you crazy, even though it is, I could see how people don't like it because it is really slow paced, but that made it scarier to me and like more interesting. And I just like the abstract part of it. I like abstract, things in general, because it kind of, I don't know, just makes me, think more about things instead of just things being plainly, in your face, like a jump scare or some obvious things. Just makes it more interesting, I guess, abstract things. So yeah, there were some shots that I was doing that I was like, ooh, this kind of looks a little like Skinamarink kind of look to it that I thought was fun. So, and I had just seen it recently before I started to make that, so it was like kind of fresh in my mind. So it's definitely an influence. And then there's Twin Peaks, David Lynch stuff. I'm just a huge David Lynch fan in general. Yeah, I mean, just with the abstract, certain abstract kind of things to it, and the part where my hair, like, I say my hair suddenly turned white overnight, which I didn't plan for that at all. I was literally, at the time, it was like becoming summertime, and I was sick of like my hair just being kind of normal, and I wanted to do something different. And so yeah, I decided to bleach my hair suddenly, and it just happened to happened while I was filming. And then at first I was like, I guess I just won't mention it. I just won't say anything about it, and I don't know, I'll just or maybe I'll make some like excuse about it, I don't know. But then I was like, I thought about it some more. I was like, oh wait, no, I might as well just like use it as part of the story. Like, I woke up, and I mean, I guess I made an excuse anyway, but like I woke up and my hair was like that, but it kind of worked in the story, I guess, because I was getting more and more, haunted and freaked out by the crazy things that were happening in my place. So it kind of, I guess worked. But then that reminded me afterwards when I did that, I was like, oh, that's like Twin Peaks, when what's the dad's name? Leland. When Leland Palmer, suddenly his hair goes gray overnight, and then he acts like really different and really strange. Which I love that part in the series, because it's just that, I mean, that's one of my favorite shows of all time. But like, yeah, that part that happens, that was just such a crazy thing, and just like, I don't think it's fully explained. I guess you can kind of interpret it a certain way in the story why that happens, but I just thought that was a cool thing that like suddenly this guy's hair just changes, and that's like, it's not something that can happen realistically, but it's like a cool thing to think about, like overnight that happening. What else? I guess there's just other, I'm watching the YouTube most of the time. I don't have cable or TV, so I just watch YouTube. And so yeah, over the years I've watched a lot of analog horror videos, including the popular ones like the Mandela catalog. I was forgetting Mandela catalog, and Backrooms, of course, and other ones. So yeah, that stuff also definitely influenced me. All the just so many creative kind of things. Also, the Walton Files, that channel. There's one newer one called the Pumpkin something. I forgot. I'll probably post it up on the screen, but I thought it was like so well done and so cool, and yeah, they just did such a good job with it. And one thing in particular that I really liked about it was the audio that they used, and how they would like take room silence, like nothing happening, the sound of recorded silence, and amplified it times like a ton, and make it super loud, and it makes it so tense and just unnerving and scary to hear. And like I loved that. I thought that was like such a. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of other creators that have done that, but I remember watching that video in particular and being like, oh my gosh, that's such a good idea to do that, and so creepy to do that. So I tried to do that at different times too, to like really mess with the the audio, and because the audio is such an important part of having a scary video or film or whatever. That if you don't have good creepy audio for it, it's just not going to be as scary. But like stuff like that really makes it scary, which that reminds me, that was another influence with Marble Hornets. The audio for that was like really influential to me, like how it would glitch a ton. Like the audio was, I thought, in some ways I feel like that's like the best part of their series. Like I like the visuals a lot, and the visuals are like pretty like iconic and stuff, with Slender Man. I mean, it's became, their videos became so popular with the visuals of Slender Man and stuff. But like with the audio part of it is like, I think they did like such an amazing job of using those like synthy, glitchy, distorted sounds, and distorting like the dialogue and stuff at times. Like I thought that was like so good, and like they did such an amazing job with that that stuck with me too, that I was like, oh, I kind of want to do something similar to that also. So I tried to do that, and yeah, I just to get into that real quick, like kind of use different like Logic plugins for that. I use Final Cut Pro to edit it, but then because I have Logic also, it's in Final Cut, so then I was able to use like different distortion effects in there. And then I use like a bit crusher a lot, and some different like reverbs, and I would mess around with a lot of effects on there. So yeah, that helped a lot. And then I also like I would take a lot of the sound that was recorded when I recorded the video, like the original video, and then I would mess with that sound and amplify it a ton and distort it and everything. So yeah, I would try to like get creative with just like the the plain audio that I would record with the video, and then try to make it sound creepy. And then also when I had the music aspects of it, when I was like playing guitar and stuff, and then later on I sampled that guitar sound and then used it and like put weird effects on it and tried to make it sound creepier and stuff in later videos. So I just kind of was trying to just mess around and experiment, and I guess that was just like a lot of I'd never I'm still really new to doing like horror stuff and horror spooky video things. So a lot of this was just an experiment for me. I just like looked at it as like every video I tried to like experiment and do different things and just be like, oh, what can I experiment with next, or how can I do this part? Oh, I guess I could try this, and just like, I don't know, I don't have a lot of knowledge or particular skills with that kind of stuff, but I just tried to make the most of the skills that I had, and just tried to do the best that I could, and try to have fun with it, and just try different things and try to get creative with it. So yeah, the what I used to shoot the videos, so I used some different cameras. So in the first videos, when it's really clean footage, I was just using my phone, my iPhone camera. I just used my plain iPhone, nothing fancy. So that was the first one, and then once I started to do the VHS kind of footage. I would record, I got from the library, there's a local library that has camcorders that you can check out. So I saw that they have that, so I checked one out for myself, and mostly I wanted to do that because you could like zoom in and out, like better, more like a regular camcorder, because basically that was just like a digital camcorder, and I was trying to emulate, an old school VHS camcorder, which I do have. In that, the thing is that whenever I show, like the actual VHS camcorder, that is actually the original VHS camcorder that I had growing up. So that was like a legit thing from my past that I still have to this day, and it actually does turn on miraculously all these years later. I couldn't get it to work. Part of me regrets it a little bit because I didn't really try hard. I just plugged it in and it turns on, but it doesn't do anything else really. But like, I don't know, at one point before I shot the series, I was gonna bring it to a place to try to get it fixed and see how much it would be, but then I just kind of procrastinated, and then I also was just trying to save up money and was like not wanting to spend much money. So then I was just like, I don't know if it's worth the effort, doing it, trying to get this thing to work, which is like, I think it has some like mold and stuff, and it's probably not in good shape. So overall, but anyway, yeah, that is, an actual camcorder from my childhood. So then I'm basically just trying to emulate that. So then I got that camcorder from the library, and then so then what I would do is I would film with that digital camcorder, and then I have a VCR. So then I had to look up how to do it. I already looked it up previously before I started the series because I was already experimenting with VHS stuff, because I wanted it to be a real VHS look to it. I didn't want it to be a filter, which I think filters look really cool and really good these days. But I just wanted to have the real thing. Although if it was truly the real thing, I would have actually filmed with a VHS camcorder. But I guess it was the next best thing. So basically shooting digital and then putting that from the digital camera onto my laptop computer, and then hooking my laptop up to my VCR and having a blank tape, and you can play anything on the computer and then hit record on the VCR, and it starts to record onto the tape, and then you stop it and then you reverse it back onto the computer, and then you have your the playback of a VHS digital thing, if that makes sense. So yeah, I wanted to do it to be look more authentic, but also I wanted to mess around because also I believe with my previous like little short experimental spooky videos I was doing, I started to like kind of mess with certain things with the VCR to get it to glitch more. So I wanted to just like I knew I wanted to like make it really like glitchy, a lot of the footage, and have that be a big part of the series, is like all the glitch stuff, because I like VHS footage glitching out and getting crazy and stuff. So then in order to do the glitch thing, so I did it where when I play back the footage from the laptop onto the VCR VHS tape, as I'm playing it back on there, and then it's recording onto the tape, I would just take the video cable and just like put it in and out. Or I would first I would just do like one tape or one, recording of the video without any glitches. I would just record it onto the VHS tape regular, just so I had like a base one. And then I would do one or two other times where I would play it back and then mess with the video cable and take it in and out as it's playing back, and then that's what would produce a lot of the cool glitches. And then afterwards I would just take those, I would put down the base, regular VHS version of it, and then on top of that I would look through and find all the cool glitches and then edit those and then put them on top and then edit them in. So yeah, that was kind of like the main way that I got all the glitchy footage. And it was just so much fun always. I don't know, there's something about it, maybe again because I'm like nostalgic from my childhood in the 90s, where watching, I grew up watching VHS tapes, so I'm just like nostalgic for it in general from that. But I don't know, there's just something so cool to me about just seeing footage from present day and then being able to see it in VHS format. It's always a trip to me to see it. It feels in a way, like going back in time, even though like it's in the present, but I'm seeing this like filter, or whatever put onto it that just like suddenly it feels like you're being transported back in time. It's just a weird thing. When I did that process of like playing it back on my laptop and then messing with the jack, like I wouldn't know what it looks like until I bring it back onto the computer and do that next step. But it was just always so exciting to get to see what happens, and I'm sure I could have done that a better way where I had like TV, like TV VCR or something. I could have watched it play back. That would have been helpful now that I think about it. But anyway, I didn't have that. So yeah, when I watch it back, it was like a kind of a surprise to get to see all the little glitches. And it was just always so cool to see like what weird, creepy things. It just like, it works so well. It's like just crazy to me how well just in general VHS, but also like the glitchiness of VHS just lends so well to horror stuff. It's just so cool because I literally am just like glitching out the video, but it like, and I'm not doing anything else. I'm just editing those glitches in, but it makes it so creepy and just looks the grains and like weird, like, ways it cuts out and the way the film imprints in certain ways and gets bright and gets dark in certain areas. And I'm not even like changing that most of the time. It's just doing that on its own. And I'm sure there's explanations for it, but I don't know. I just think it just is so cool to see, and just like found that to be like one of the most interesting parts, just to like get to see all those glitches and the weird things it would do. And it was always like a surprise and always fun to see. So yeah, like I had to get creative at times, trying to fool, the viewer into thinking that I was actually using the camcorder, the real VHS camcorder, when in fact I wasn't. So there was only like a couple shots where I had to do that. And yeah, the first time, like that one where I'm like picking it, it's like first person and I'm like moving the camera around, and then I look in the mirror and I wave, and I'm holding that actual VHS camcorder that doesn't work, but I think it's hard to see because of the quality of it. Hopefully it's not easy to see. I just like taped my phone onto the top of it. I think I just taped it onto the top, like with black tape. I just taped it on and I was actually recording with my phone instead, and then so that footage I just, took from my phone and then put it onto the VHS tape to make it seem like that. So yeah, that was how I did that one. And then in the final Doc 13, when the cabinet opens and, supposedly the camcorder's in there filming me, this time you can see it pretty clearly, which I realized kind of in the later stages, and that when I was almost done, and I was like, whatever, like if people notice, who cares? But like, yeah, that the library camcorder is just sitting like right next to the bigger VHS camcorder, so it just, I was just recording with the library camcorder, and I think you could see the blinking light from the smaller camcorder, and yeah, it's kind of clear because that time it was just using my phone footage, so it was like much clearer, the footage. I couldn't hide behind the VHS quality, and it'd be harder to see, so yeah, you can see that pretty clearly, but I just left it in, so I was like, whatever. people care about it, and then that's their problem. So yeah, another thing that I was wanting to do with it, besides just filming my own things, was I wanted to take some kind of VHS already made VHS footage and work that into the story and do edits, experimental edits with it, and have that be a part of it. So there's a thrift store near me that has some VHS tapes. So every couple weeks I'd go there and kind of look and see what they had, and usually it's nothing that great. But then right as I was getting ready to film this series, I was like, oh, well, I guess I should look for something, because that was when I started to come up with that idea that I wanted to take something to edit. So then I was like, okay, I'll see what they have, and I'll just try to pick something and try to see if I can make it work. So then, yeah, I went to the thrift store and looked through, and I grabbed a couple ones that I saw. So this was the first one. It is National Geographic kids video, really weird animals, hot dogs, and cool cats. So I had no idea what I was gonna do with this. I guess that's part of the fun of it. Like, I just wanted to choose something, and then I didn't really know what was gonna be on these tapes exactly, or how the footage was gonna be, and I was just gonna try my best to try to see if I could make it work. So I didn't really know what to do, and plus I just thought this was kind of a cool tape anyway, and like the cover and the name of it I thought was funny. So I was like, I'll just grab this one. So I grabbed this one, and then I grabbed one other one. I grabbed this Dick Van Dyke tape, and yeah, I don't know really what prompted me to get it at first. I didn't really know much about Dick Van Dyke. I'd never seen an episode of it before, but I just knew it was an older show, and I was like, oh, maybe that would work, like an older show, maybe because older things sometimes look creepy. I don't know. So I just kind of like chose it kind of randomly. But then I took it home, and I swear on my life and everything that I didn't notice this until I got home and was going to use it. That's when I realized, or when I looked at it closer, and then it said, it's really hard to see, but it says, "Give me your walls," as the one of the episodes. And when I saw that, I could not believe it. I was like, what are the chances? Because I already came up with the walls idea. Like, I already came up with like the story of it pretty much. And I didn't even look close at the tape or anything, so I didn't see that. And just seeing that after I bought it and took it home, I was like, okay, this was like meant to be. Like, that is insane that there's 2 episodes on here, that Give Me Your Walls one, and then A man's teeth are not your own, which I didn't end up using that episode because I watched it and I was like trying to see if there was anything I could use in that one, but there wasn't really anything. But yeah, I just could not believe that coincidence that Give Me Your Walls was an episode. Like, that was like the craziest thing, and kind of creeped me out too. I was like, what the heck is going on? Like, how is that possible? Like, of all the tapes I could have chosen there, or in general, like, that it ended up being that was just like the weirdest thing. And then another happy thing about it was I checked and it was in the public domain. It was like it's an older or it's like it was an interesting thing, I think, where like it was just like a handful of episodes that are in the public domain with Dick Van Dyke, I believe, with the Dick Van Dyke Show. And it just happened to be that, you know, these couple episodes are in the public domain, so I could just use it and not worry about it. So that part was really cool too. And then one more really crazy thing was also when I looked closer at this and I saw, or not, it doesn't say it on this tape, but I was like looking it up online, the episode and everything, and it said the air date. I swear on this that unfortunately it didn't work out exactly perfectly how I wanted, but I was so close to finishing the first video where I featured that footage of the Give Me Your Walls Dick Van Dyke Show. I was going to upload that video and I wasn't quite there. I was like so close. I was planning on uploading it. And then I saw that that day that I was like trying to upload it originally was 60 years exactly to the day that episode aired. So it was exactly 60 years ago. And I even put that in like the video when I like uploaded it too, because I put it in the comment section of the video because I was like, I couldn't believe it. I was like, are you serious? Like, what is going on here? Why is this so how is this the coincidences with this VHS tape and episode it was just too weird. It was starting to creep me out. But then the frustrating thing was I was like so close to finishing that episode, but I wasn't there yet, and I knew I needed like a few more hours to work on it and I didn't have enough time. So then I had to wait like 2 or 3 more days after that, and then I uploaded it. But still, I mean, it was like practically that day of the 60-year anniversary for that. So that blew my mind. So yeah, I knew I had to use that episode, the Dick Van Dyke Show, Give Me Your Walls episode. So I just watched it and tried to like pick apart pieces that I thought were good and creepy, and maybe I could connect with the footage that I was like thinking about shooting, and just kind of wanted to be experimental too, and not that they're, you know, kind of like, you know, pick and choose things, but like kind of you can interpret it, you know, in different ways, what the footage means and stuff. But yeah, I had a lot of fun, messing with that footage and editing that and everything. So that was fun. So I didn't really mention, I guess I filmed this whole thing and did this whole thing all on my own. So yeah, everything was done on my own, which, you know, mostly was because I was so excited to get to like do this project. A project like this, and I wanted to be able to do all things. I was just excited to get to do, you know, film it and just have a hand in the whole creative process. So yeah, and then also with the story too, I mean, it was like I wrote out all the episodes or docs. I wrote out, you know, each doc and what I thought would, you know, happen during it, but then it would change over time, you know, as I thought more about it. Different ideas came up as I was making it, and so like I had found, you know, I was unhappy, you know, where I was actually living in my real life and where I was filming, and then so for a while I was looking for a place to move to, and it took a while, but then thankfully it happened. And but then it also happened as I was filming, but thankfully it was later on, and it just so worked out that I got far enough in my filming that I was able to film, the majority of the creepy things in that place. And then I started to move into the new place, which was, the last video. Me moving in, I'd already moved in a few weeks before that, but I was like newly moved into that place. So it kind of worked out really good in that in real life. It kind of lined up well, where I did end up finding a way better place, which is where I'm living right now. And I'm like so much happier here. And so yeah, I was like super happy that, in my real life that I found a better place. And then also it worked out with the videos that way too. But yeah, one thing that I ran into and why it's taken me years to finish this was I was doing a good job, like working on each episode and uploading it, but it was kind of getting slower and slower as I did each episode. It would take me a little bit longer. And part of that was like, this was all new to me, and I was like still figuring out a lot of things. Like I had a lot of ideas, and certain like episodes would take me longer to figure out how to make those ideas work and how to do them. So it just took time, which was fine overall. But then also, as I was uploading it, I was frustrated at the time because there wasn't hardly anybody watching them. There was just a handful here and there of people commenting, like hardly at all, and hardly any likes, not many views at all. So yeah, it was just kind of disheartening, because I felt like I was doing a really good job, and I was really happy with how it was turning out, and thought it was, looking creepy and stuff. I know it's nothing like crazy, or it is, pretty DIY, and but I don't know, I was still like feeling pretty good about it, and just was like frustrated that the videos just like weren't getting many views with people, and no one was really talking much about it. So I just, over time, I just like kept putting in all of this time into making this thing and working on each episode, and putting in more and more time, and not having anyone watch it. And it just like was getting harder and harder to motivate myself to work on it. So then, yeah, you could like see in the original episodes that I uploaded, you can, see the timeline, and then how it's kind of, slowing down over time. And then I think it was the 8th episode, the eighth doc that I uploaded, which I was like really happy about and really excited about, and thought it turned out really creepy and cool. But then like there was like no views hardly at all, and no response to it, and I was just like, what the heck is this? And then I kind of lost motivation at that point. It was just really hard to like be putting in all this time and everything. So I don't know, I wasn't like, oh, I'm never doing this again or anything. I wasn't like super upset or anything, but I just kind of was like losing interest. It was like, okay, well, I don't know, people aren't seeming to like this, and I started to doubt it and think it wasn't that great. And then in the meantime, kind of like in the story, how I'm interested in music, I was becoming more personally into playing music myself, and recording and making music. So then I started to shift just doing that, and getting away from doing video stuff. So then, and that became much more interesting and fun for me to work on the music stuff instead. So then I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna stop for now. And then ended up doing music for a while and loving that. But then as time went on and the months went on, and then a year passed since I did, the last episode, and I had filmed everything. Everything was all filmed. I just had to edit it, but that's filming is not like the part that takes long. It's the editing part takes much longer, because that's how when I do a lot of the, I do the VHS glitch stuff, and then I do other digital editing things. So yeah, it was just, I knew it was gonna take, it takes time to edit them. So, and part of me was kind of procrastinating on it. But still in the back of my head, as I was mostly working on music stuff, it kept like sitting there in the back of my head, like, when am I going to get back to that project? When am I going to get back to the Uncanny Walls Incident and finish it? I need to finish it. And that just kept like bugging me over and over. And that voice kept getting louder and louder as the months went on. And until, I hit a point where I was like, okay, I know I need to finish this. I know I want to finish it. Maybe I should finish it soon. And then, it just kept going for a bit. And then, it was like, I think it was a year and 5 months or something that I uploaded the 9th doc, the next episode. So it took, that long, over a year to get back to it. And part of also what helped me get back to that routine and like force myself to do it, because like, it's kind of hard sometimes when you don't have anyone holding you accountable to do a certain thing, to make yourself do that thing. So then one thing that's helped me in the past, and then with this project, is like setting a certain date that like kind of means something to me or has some significance, and then holding myself to that date and being like, okay, you got to post it on this date. And so what I chose for, and I did the same thing when I was doing the Spooky Stories podcast years ago, whereas I told myself, I have to post a new episode every 13th of the month, because like 13 is like a spooky, cursed number. So I was like, okay, I have to do, if I, post it on the 13th every month. And so that, even though it like isn't anything even that serious, I was just telling myself that. For some reason that like clicks in my brain, and I take that more seriously than not having a date or having some other kind of date that doesn't mean anything to post it by. So it kind of like for whatever reason forced me to finish it on those dates. So it ended up working out for me. There was only 1 month that I skipped after that, and I forgot why that was. I think I don't know, something was going on, or I was busy. But that helped a bunch to have like choose a certain date like that, and kind of hold myself accountable. So once I like returned to making or working on the series again, at that point I kind of was over that initial like annoyance or disappointment of like no one checking out my stuff or the series, the videos. I was kind of over that, and then I was kind of like, okay, like who cares if anyone's watching this or anyone watches it. Like if I'm happy with it, maybe someday some people will watch it and enjoy it, and I might as well just finish it for myself, and just I was having fun with it anyway, working on it, so why not keep having fun with it and just finish it. And then it's something I can say, that I did, that I finished this, horror series and everything, and completed it, instead of, not doing that. That my mentality kind of changed too, which kind of helped me get back to it and kind of shift my focus to just like enjoying doing it again and just having fun with it. So then once I got back in the groove of it too, that helped, because I was kind of like rusty a little bit at first, going back to doing the video stuff, which I'd just been doing the music stuff, so I had to like remember how to use Final Cut again, and I like forgot a lot of things. But once I like dusted off the cobwebs and got more into the groove, then I yeah, got a little better. It got easier to work on and more enjoyable to do. And yeah, I'm really glad that I did finish it because I'm happy how it turned out. And yeah, I mean, I was also, I mean, part of the issue too is I I just have a hard time sharing my things with people that I make. Like it's hard for me to share things with other people, and I get, like so worried about what other people are gonna think and stuff. So that was part of the problem too earlier on, when I was first making the videos. I didn't even really barely share. I shared it with some friends, but I didn't really like post it anywhere online or anything. So, but then once like started to finish the series and then did finish it, then I built up a little more confidence to share it with people a little bit more. And then I was again disappointed though at first when I posted that last doc 13. Like I was so excited, that's the last episode, that's the finale. And like that episode especially got like hardly any views. Like even now I think it has like 28 or 30 views. But it didn't really get bumped at all by YouTube or anything. Like it went nowhere and no one even liked it. I think right now there's like 1 or 2 likes on it. But I was just like, at that point I was over it and I was like, whatever, I don't care. Like I finished it. Screw that. Like no one's gonna watch the last episode. I don't care. But then I pushed myself to try to share it a little bit more. And then I did some things like I put it all into one video, which I think helped, instead of having the individual episodes, which are, I think usually harder for people to check out and take the time to like go through each individual episode. And if it's all, edited into one longer video, then I think that made it easier for people to check it out. Because once I did it that way, the longer video, there were some people that were checking it out, and then I shared it a little bit on Reddit, and so people were checking it out that way and liking it, and I finally got some good comments on it and stuff, so that felt really good that it did finally get to connect, not with a ton of people so far, or I don't know if it'll ever happen, but at least some people got to see it and seemed to like it and appreciate it, so that was cool. And I also made a trailer for it, which I thought would help it a little bit more. It didn't really seem, at least right now, so far it hasn't really helped that much. I thought like having a little short 1 minute and some 30-second trailer would be something people could check out easier than get into the whole video, but didn't really get bumped that much by YouTube either or anything, so whatever. At the end of the day, I'm just happy I did it, and some people got to see it and enjoy it. And if you're one of those people that checked it out, thank you so much for watching it and taking the time to watch it, because I wasn't really sure anyone was ever gonna watch it. And yeah, it's cool to hear some people did watch it and did like it. So thanks for checking it out, and hope this video was sort of or kind of interesting, or maybe you're interested in doing your own series or horror videos or found footage or analog horror kind of videos, and maybe it could help inspire you a little bit. I don't know, but anyway, thanks for watching, and see ya. Bye.